It's now been over a decade since Arkham Knight, and I recently played the Lego Batman game, and it gave me the urge to go back and play Arkham Knight. But it also raises the question: what are Rocksteady doing with their time, and what does the future of the Arkham series look like? Now, Arkham Knight was the last game in that series, and as I will cover, it is one of the best games in the series. But yeah, Rocksteady were then tasked with making the Suicide Squad, which I think most people would consider to be an abject failure. So I'm going to be looking at Batman in a more general sense, but also, yeah, mainly focusing on the PC version of Arkham Knight.
Criminals. And worse. Not enough good people left to stop them. It took just 24 hours for us to lose control of the city. Tonight, Gotham's relying on one man to save us all.
I absolutely love that introduction. I just think it's so well done, and it really gets me in the mood for playing Batman. But yeah, I digress. So, in the Arkham series, in case you haven't played them, the first one was Arkham Asylum in 2009, and then we had Arkham City in 2011. Then we had Batman Arkham Origins, went back and played a slightly younger Batman in 2013, and then obviously the final one in the series, Arkham Knight in 2015. So I did toy with the idea of going back and playing all four games, but then I decided not to because I've always seen Arkham Knight as the final evolution of the whole Rocksteady blueprint. So all the systems they've been refining and adding through each game, we get them all in Arkham Knight and a few more obviously. So I was chatting to a friend the other day and she mentioned that she absolutely loves Batman, and I asked her why, and she basically said Batman is possible. You know, Batman operates in the realms of possibility where, yeah, it's very unlikely that we've got a Batman running around somewhere on planet Earth, but it is possible. So, what makes Batman Batman? And I think there's a few different things coming together all at once. And obviously, the wealth, the Wayne family legacy is an important part of that. That gives him resources to invest in technology, the resources to buy all his hardware that like supports him. You know, the Batmobile, the Batcave.
What gives you the right? What's the difference between you and me?
I'm not wearing hockey pads.
I'm just being able to just generally not worry about having to pay the bills. And this is something we see with Spider-Man quite a lot. His fight for survival is almost like an economic one. He's always like, you know, not paying his rent or like losing jobs. But apart from the odd fundraiser or social appearance, Bruce Wayne can just get on with being Batman. I think if there's any aspects of Batman or Bruce Wayne that is superhuman, it's probably his willpower. You know, Batman can use his willpower to literally force himself to do certain things, to literally will himself stronger and force himself through certain situations that would probably kill many other men. That's like talking about poisons in his system or immense physical trauma. He can literally will himself through the situations. And he does this through meditation, he does this through years of training, martial arts. And I really love that part about him. It just shows he's not a rich boy buying his way to success. He's actually got something about him that makes him successful and elevates him above what the average citizen can do. So, as always, when I'm doing a review for a game, if there's any related media, I just love to go back and watch like old films. So, yeah, I went back and watched the Keaton film. Didn't go beyond that. I don't like the Batman and Robin films. I thought they were like really bad. But then obviously watched the Nolan films, the three films, and they're just absolutely amazing. But one thing I noticed is that in the Nolan films, they tended to focus more on the morality of Batman and what it means to be the Dark Knight. And the stuff like the detective kind of like left that behind a bit. I mean, they can't do everything, can they? There's a bit hinted at that in Keaton's Batman, and then interestingly enough, the Robert Pattinson film, the latest Batman, they went back to him being a detective. You know, like Gordon's letting him into the crime scenes, and he's looking around and piecing things together and doing the ciphers with Alfred. Now, those who know Batman and know a bit about him will know that he's actually known as the world's greatest detective. He has this amazing intellect. He's got an eidetic memory. He can recall anything at any time he's ever seen. And I love the way that the team at Rocksteady, they actually implemented a lot of the detective lore and technology into the game. So, for example, like you're coming across a crime scene or, say, a car crash, and you need to like piece it all together. So Batman is using his intelligence and his technology at the same time, and the game allows you to kind of like piece things together and look where people have put handprints, and then follow like the trajectory of a bullet and that kind of stuff. And it just feeds into the whole like building the character and making you feel like you're playing as Batman.
Oracle stopped here. Someone took a shot at her. I should analyze the point of impact for ballistic evidence.
So what has it been about the Arkham series that has really stood out for me? And I think personally it's the respect to Batman. It's the way that Rocksteady have taken the Batman and really paid attention to who he is and what makes Batman so impressive and so loved by so many fans. In terms of the game, this translates into a game world that is just packed to the brim with Batman lore and Batman stories. You're constantly being given information, files, backgrounds on all the characters that you meet. And so as you progress through the game, you get this constantly improving and evolving library of Batman lore. And for me personally, it's just fantastic just to go through it all and read it as you're uncovering things. It's this almost like a story in itself.
Come on, let's go! Come on, move! 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 Take cover!
Time to die, old man.
In death, he has nothing left to fear. Keep him away from Ace Chemicals. Your vengeance will come.
This ends tonight.
I'm not really going to cover major plot spoilers, but obviously by talking about the game and showing certain screenshots and videos, I'm kind of giving some things away, so just bear that in mind. But yeah, there'll be no major spoilers in this review. So, on this night, we are set at Halloween, and Scarecrow has released a biotoxin on the city. A very small attack at first, but this has scared off most of the residents of the city and just leaves the criminals on the streets. Kind of like a convenient thing for the game as well, as they're not having to like simulate loads of NPCs running around. It's mainly just criminals running around and in their vehicles, so that's pretty much what you get. There's also this other character called the Arkham Knight. Now, you may figure out who he is before the actual reveal near the end of the game, but needless to say, this guy is motivated, he's got loads of hardware, and he's got a definite grudge against Batman. So in addition to the two main antagonists, we've also got an absolutely packed roster of enemies to fight. So we've got the Penguin, we've got Two-Face, we've got Riddler, we've got Firefly, we've got all kinds of different characters from Batman's past, all coming together in this one game. We've got Poison Ivy, who plays an important role in this game, and we've even got the Joker. Now, the Joker died in the last game, but they figured out a really interesting way to implement him back into the game, and we've always fought the Joker in the physical world, whereas now Batman is fighting the Joker in his mind, somewhere where he's never actually had to defend himself before from the Joker. And so, yeah, this really plays an interesting part in the entire game. So you've got a main mission in the game, fighting the Scarecrow and the Arkham Knight. But then as you start to develop the story, you start to add new cases to the mission wheel. And the way they've done this is that most of these missions have like an objective, but they kind of all relate back to a certain enemy. So, for example, Two-Face is raiding all the banks in Gotham, taking advantage of all the chaos, whereas the Penguin is taking advantage by smuggling in arms. And so, anytime you want to break from the main mission, you can just select one of these missions, these cases, and go off and do that. So I also like the way they've implemented certain missions, so they kind of just like throw themselves on you. For example, you got one character who's basically spliced his DNA with a bat, trying to solve deafness. All goes wrong, kind of murders his wife, and then he's flying around Gotham as a transformed bat. And yeah, you kind of come across him, and there's other things like fire stations on fire, or police officers have been kidnapped. And all of these things are all around you all the time, and you just come across them and start to try and solve them. And very often they lead to an enemy hiding behind the scenes, and you get a really good feeling of like solving that case and then carrying on. So on top of the main story and cases and just general flying around the world and taking care of things, you've got all the Enigma challenges, obviously, but then you've also got these things called Most Wanted. And this is an additional 5 character stories that are placed inside the world. You don't have to do them, but they're also linked to other characters in which you'll probably have come across if you're a Batman fan. So, for example, Killer Croc. He was being transported on a Zeppelin prison boat, and the thing goes down in the docks, and it's up to you to get on board, save the crew, and defeat Killer Croc.
This place sink and everyone with it. You got no idea.
Nightwing, make your way to my location now.
Croc?
He's got the warden. You're safe.
Thanks, Batman. I thought they were gonna kill me. The city's overrun. We don't stand a chance.
Stay here. I'll send someone to pick you up.
What are you doing?
Evening the odds. Oracle, I need to track that military vehicle.
A squad car has picked up the pursuit. I'm relaying its location now.
Call off your men.
Golf Oscar 5-6, this is Commissioner Gordon.
So I cannot do a review of Arkham Knight without talking about the Batmobile. It is without doubt the most divisive part about the game, and a reason why a lot of fans just didn't like the game at all. So in prior games, the way you got around the city would be you would fly around, you would grapple, you would glide, and that was pretty much it. In this game, they decided to implement the Batmobile. I don't know if it was to do with the films, but I suspect it was something to do with that, as the Tumbler and the Batpod had proven to be really popular in the Nolan films. So, speaking for myself personally, I absolutely love the way they implemented the Batmobile into this game. I think it's tough, it's fast, and it absolutely smashes through everything that's in its way. Well, nearly everything. As you approach buildings, sometimes you'll think, right, I'm going to come to a screeching halt here. But then the Batmobile just smashes through everything, almost like there's like a layer of destructible concrete around every single structure, and it's just such a satisfying way to drive around. The afterburner on the back sounds amazing. You've got a boost. You can actually rappel out of the Batmobile while you're moving and fly up into the air. They've thought about so many things. You can use the Batmobile to power generators. You can activate it in remote mode, so you can use Batman in one place and then actually drive the Batmobile around in others. And it's not just a gimmick. They've used this in so many parts of the game to actually solve puzzles or beat different enemies. There's even a part which reminded me of the first Batman film in the Nolan series, Batman Begins, where you use a winch to get yourself up on a roof, and then you're jumping from rooftop to rooftop and actually pulling yourself up.
Who is this guy?
You would kind of hope the Wayne Foundation would actually send a care package and maybe a couple of architects around to these buildings once Bruce Wayne's finished smashing them up. But yeah, a completely awesome part in the film. And then here we can see the Batwing coming down in the game. The Batwing isn't directly controllable, and I think that was a smart move on Rocksteady's part, but you can actually use it to drop off equipment, and it's also kind of like there to scan the environment and just scan for different things that Batman's looking for. So completely awesome, but yeah, you don't control it directly. I think if it would have been just left at that, I think the Batmobile would have been readily accepted by most Batman fans, but they didn't. They added a battle mode to the Batmobile, turning it into essentially a tank, a fast-moving tank. And these sections are widely used in the game to fight the Arkham Knight's artillery and tanks and various other things that he fires at you. And I personally, again, I quite like them, but I do acknowledge they were a bit overused, and you end up in these long protracted battles and essentially just blowing up the turrets on these different tanks. So yeah, I think if they'd just toned that down a little bit, it would have been far more balanced. But I personally, again, I thought they were a nice touch. The combat is quite fun, and yeah, if they'd just dialed it down a bit, then it would have been great. I mentioned quite a lot of characters in this game, and I've mentioned that the team at Rocksteady really did pack in a lot of different names. But I think what makes this game also very successful is the sheer quality of voice talent behind the characters. So many people will know that the Joker was actually voiced by Mark Hamill, who really captures that insanity of the Joker. We've also got Troy Baker, who plays the Arkham Knight, and Ashley Greene, who I didn't know actually was playing the role of Oracle. And then, of course, we got the famous Kevin Conroy as the Batman.
You have to help me. That Quinn woman and her goons are trying to break in here. There's no telling what she'll do to me.
Stay calm, Henry. I'm on my way. Robin, wait here with the infected. I'll go ahead and deal with Harley's men.
Catchy number, right back?
So as you are moving around Arkham City, which is an open city, you can move anywhere you want within the city limits. You have probably two types of main gameplay. You've got the Predator style, stalking the enemies, taking them down, like picking them off one by one, using your different gadgets, using distraction techniques, and there is a lot of options here for you. But then once Batman is discovered and you enter a fight, this is what's called the free flow combat system. And it's probably the most famous aspect of the Arkham Knight series. And it's actually something that a lot of other games have tried to emulate. And even games that haven't tried to copy that same system, you'll hear games talked about, like the Arkham style combat. And everyone who's played this game knows exactly what you mean. So I'll describe the free flow combat system as the best I can. Essentially, if you play on mouse and keyboard, which I always do, but you can play with a controller, left click is attack. And as soon as an enemy comes in and you see the telltale blue icon, which means you're about to get attacked, you right click to block. And that is the basics of it. Sounds very simple, and it is. But how it gets more complicated is Batman can use his gadgets. There are different moves as well, like if you double tap space, you'll vault over an enemy as they come running in. Certain attacks can't be blocked, like red attacks. Or if someone's got a knife, you'll see a yellow attack, and you have to kind of do it in time. And what I love about Arkham Knight is, like I said, it's an evolution of all the games. So you actually get all of the skills you've been picking up through the games all brought into this game. And then they've added a ton more elements to the upgrade system. So for example, you can double tap and hold, say number 2, and that makes you do like a grapple attack, which then takes down one enemy. And you can also build up your combo chain, which then allows you to do these special attacks, which also take down an enemy in one shot. And are pretty impressive, as every single character you play as has a different one. Oh yeah, and also you can actually team up with different heroes and do these like dual attacks and have like a free flow system that incorporates both heroes. And for a system that on paper is quite simple, it can get very complicated, but not in a bad way, just in a way that gives you options. I could fight in this game all day. And it's probably one of the reasons why this is one of the few games that after I finished it, I just went straight back and did another run. It's such a fun game to play in.
What a pair you made.
beginner, you're just competent enough to survive. Enjoy it while it lasts.
So before I leave the character section of the game, I just wanted to mention as well, there's actually 5 different character packs in addition to the actual main game, and each of these looks at one individual character. These character packs are interesting because they allow you to step into the shoes of a character that you wouldn't normally get a chance to play as. So for example, there's one for Harley Quinn, there's one for Red Hood, who actually uses dual pistols and will kill his victims or his enemies if he gets chance. But the one I found the most interesting was actually playing as Batgirl. You get to play as the iconic sidekick, if you will, and get to see her in all her glory before she gets shot by the Joker and becomes Oracle.
Batman got his? Where you going?
Thought I heard something.
Where's Batman get his? I don't know. Same place Batman got his.
What was that?
Hey, where's Boogie?
There's no two ways about it. The PC port of Arkham Knight at launch was an absolute disaster. It was one of the worst PC ports, if probably not the worst port ever in PC gaming history. The worst part is that Warner Brothers allegedly knew about the poor state of the port, but they just released it anyway, showing a complete disdain for their customers, for PC gamers, and for their own product. And this is why to this day, among other reasons, I have got no time for Warner Brothers. They are a horrible company and they've done some really terrible things, and this PC gaming port will unfortunately always be known for that one thing. But the good news is that the game was worked on after launch, and the current state of the game is actually really well optimized. The game runs really well on my system, the graphics look great, the crashing issue was removed, and things like the 30 FPS cap, which was just, why are you doing this? Why would anybody do that on a PC game? Was thankfully all changed. So yeah, the current state of the game is great, but it still doesn't take away from the fact this game at launch was basically unplayable for a lot of people. So I think it's obvious by now that I am a massive fan of the Arkham Knight series, and especially the Arkham Knight, the final game. I think, like I've said, it evolves the whole blueprint into its final form and brings us what is, at the moment, I would say the ultimate Batman game. It incorporates all the things that I want from a Batman game in terms of his movement, his abilities, the lore, the characters, his enemies. They all come together into this one package, and there is so much gameplay here for you to enjoy. Even a small run, even doing the basics, will take you hours and hours. But if you really get involved in the world and sink into all the lore and do all the stories, you could be playing this game for weeks and weeks and still not uncover all the things there are to find. I think visually the game still holds up as well as a modern game. Obviously now we're over a decade old, but the game has its own unique style, and yeah, Arkham Asylum is now showing its age, that is true. But I think this game is modern enough where if you're playing on a decent computer and you've got everything ramped up to maximum, flying around Gotham City is still just incredible. And the team at Rocksteady really did make this game not future-proof, but they definitely pushed it as far as they could do with the technology they had. And the game just looks amazing. The characters look fantastic. The animation is exquisite. I mean, Batman himself, the way he moves, all the different special attacks, the grapple, the way the glider works on your wingsuit, the Batmobile as well, crashing through Gotham. All of it just looks incredible. So at the moment, as we are in 2026, I am really happy with the game. I guess the final question is, are we ever going to get another Arkham game or another Batman game from Rocksteady? And I think the answer to that is yes. Reports are that they are actually working on a new Arkham game or a new Batman game right now. Obviously, we don't have any real details for that. And given how much uncertainty there is at the moment in the games industry, I wouldn't say anything is a definite. But even though, like I've said, I feel this is the ultimate Batman game, and at the moment when I want that fix, this is the game I come to, I will always look forward to a new Batman game in this series, and also from Rocksteady. I think after being given like a poison chalice with Suicide Squad, I also would imagine they want to prove themselves again, that they can make single player Batman games that are exceptional. And there we go, guys. I'm really happy that I've finally got a chance to sit down and play through Arkham Knight again and bring you my ultimate 2026 review of Arkham Knight. Is it still worth going back to? Yeah, obviously. This is one of the best superhero games around at the moment, and from what I can see, it's going to keep that crown for some time to come. If you are still here, thank you very much for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed putting it together. And yeah, let me know in the comments, did you ever play Batman Arkham Knight when it first came out? Or are you going to go back and play it now for the first time? If you do, I really hope you enjoy it. And yeah, let me know what you think. My next content will probably be the Dave the Diver DLC. I'm going to actually review the game and the DLC as one package. And then after that, we should be rolling straight into Assassin's Creed Black Flag, the resynced version. And I'm really looking forward to this. This is one of my favourite games in the Assassin's Creed series. And to think about playing it in a completely reskinned, remade version using the new engine, yeah, this is going to be great. If you like my video, please leave a like and subscribe. But yeah, most of all, like I said, just leave a comment and start a conversation, as I always love talking to you guys about gaming and what's going on in the industry. Alright guys, hope you're all well, take care, and I'll see you soon.